Hey guys, HaxerTech here for another video, and today we're going to be talking about a very inexpensive laptop from LincPlus, and I'm going to be comparing it to some of the other options out there in a similar price range. But I wanted to talk about this laptop. I did get this laptop to review from the company and wanted to give a few thoughts. So the first thing I wanted to do is show you the website on lincplustech.com. I'm going to put a link in the description. Please check out that link if you are interested. But we're going to be looking at the unit that they sent me is the P2 unit. Okay, so before I do the or show the unboxing and what I actually took out of the package here, let's just take a look at some of the details on the website. So you can see that there are a few different places you can get this. It ships from the US or the UK. And you have some different variations that you can get the keyboard in. And here are a few of the screenshots of the unit. So I really like the way this is designed, and we will look at, after I unboxed it, what my impressions were, the audio coming out of the device, the screen quality, all of those different things I will talk about. But my first impressions is I really like the build quality of this. A lot of the less expensive laptops have a very poor feel. This one, I would compare it to a MacBook. The hinge, specifically when I'm closing and opening the lid, was very similar to a Mac. It's very sturdy. It doesn't feel cheap like a lot of the different laptops I've used where it has that very weak hinge mechanism. So it definitely feels very sturdy. Of course, you can replace the RAM in there if you need to. Now, it did not come with any accessories in the box. There's some things that are talked about here, and I do think there's additional accessories that you can get for the unit, but it was very straightforward what I got with the unit here. And if we look down here at the specifications, some details here again on the screen. This is the Celeron N3350 processor. So this is not a super high-end machine in terms of specs, but it's a very basic 14-inch machine. It's got a very nice matte screen that does a very good job of not showing light, so it's anti-reflective, which I like. Going through some of the features here, you'll see some other things. There are some highlights here in terms of the charge. Now, I have actually noticed, I've tested it. I haven't gotten a full rating, but I have noticed that the battery life does tend to be pretty good, as is talked about on the website here. The recommendation here is 5.8 to 10 hours of typical usage. I believe when I specifically looked in the Windows settings, when I had it almost fully charged, I was at almost 8 hours or so of battery life, so it's definitely consistent with the metrics that are on the website. So the reason they talk about this connector here is because it does have a USB-C port that you can use, which of course is pretty standard, but that is a nice additional feature. Again, for a budget laptop, and we will talk about this as I go through the unit that I actually unboxed, the screen I actually did think was very good. The colors were very bright. And I am a fan of the matte screens myself personally, just because I have a lot of situations where there is glare, and even a very high quality glossy screen works very poorly in my environment, so I really appreciated the design of the screen here. You can also look through the reviews, rated pretty well, but I just wanted to give a quick look at what you'll see on the website here, and then of course for the price, it's about $250, which is very in line with the price that you expect for a basic budget laptop, a 14-inch laptop. Now, keep in mind one thing, especially if you're looking at this size of laptop, if you're comparing things like specs, I would encourage you to consider that, especially now, there are things like Shadow PC, which I did a video about before. If you're using something like that, you don't really need a super powerful machine, because a lot of things you can do, like Game Pass if you're playing games on your device, or if you're trying to run something that requires a lot of resources, you can use something like Shadow to run a virtual machine that's going to actually perform better than a gaming machine. So now I think is a really good time to look at budget machines where you can leverage the technology that's available to still use it for the functions that a higher end machine might do, but you don't necessarily have to get a high-end machine to perform those capabilities. Okay, so that's just a quick overview of this machine. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the unboxed unit that I have here and have a couple comments on what I found so far, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the unboxing of the unit, and so here you can see what comes in the box. You get the laptop, you get a standard power cable. The brick is pretty small, which is nice, so it's really easy to travel with. Zooming in here, again, there's not really a lot of accessories that you need to worry about. You can kind of see close up what it looks like. It has definitely a very Mac feel to it in terms of the design, very sturdy. Here I just pulled up a screenshot, again, from where we talked about before what was on the website for that adapter, but here on the side you can see it's got a USB port, standard plug. For power, you've got your output for video display, you've got your USB Type-C connection on the side, and this also gives you a really good kind of feel of how thin the unit is, kind of looking at the side here as well. You've got a micro SD card slot, which is really nice, another USB port on the side, and you have your audio jack on the side as well. Again, just looking at some of the details here, you got your 5 megapixel front camera, 14-inch full HD screen, and that is full HD. So here, looking at the actual unit, kind of just testing some things here, I wanted to talk about my experience with the actual unit. So using the device, I haven't had any issues with latency or sluggishness. Now again, I have not been using this specifically for gaming or anything in that regard. This is not a high-end machine that's meant to be really used for high workload. It's not something that you would probably want to run, you know, even complex video editing functions on, but you could certainly run a tool like Shadow or whatever other service that you want to give it a bit more horsepower. The things that are really important for me for a budget machine is that the screen looks nice, which it does. It has that nice matte screen, so it's anti-glare. It does not reflect any images or light on it, so that works very well. And then also the sound quality is pretty good. Now, granted, most people are probably going to be using headphones or something else to listen to audio. I don't always listen to audio straight from the speakers in my device, so that may or may not be relevant to you. But if you are looking for something that's going to have really good quality sound, I would say the sound is very good. This is certainly not going to blow you away in terms of comparing it to a very expensive high-end machine, but for comparing it to other budget machines, I've used a lot of budget machines. I think this is actually better in terms of sound quality than many of the other budget machines, especially name brand like Acer budget laptops that I've used. So I did want to do a little bit of a comparison here for a sound test, just to give you an idea of what you're going to get in terms of the sound quality. But yeah, I thought that this was actually very impressive for, again, a budget machine here. So I'm going to do a quick test here momentarily to show you what you can expect for the sound quality. Okay, so that was just a quick demo of the audio and the video there, just to give you an idea of what you're gonna expect with this particular machine. Again, I haven't had any particular issues. I've been very impressed with the actual build quality and performance of the unit so far. Shipping was also very fast for me, so I didn't have any issues in terms of getting it very quickly. In general, my biggest comment here is definitely the build quality. Very impressed with it. Like I said, guys, I'm going to put a link in the description so you can check this unit out. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. That's it for this video review, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.